Sometimes you can feel it without anyone saying a word. A glance that lingers too long. A silence that weighs heavier than it should. An energy in the room that isn't open but tilted. As if someone's watching you, hoping you'll fall. You didn't do anything wrong, and yet something in the air is off. It feels like someone resents you for simply being who you are. And the question creeps in. Why? Why would someone who you've never hurt think badly of you? Why would they hope for your failure when you've done nothing but mind your own path? Maybe it's because your light makes their shadows harder to ignore. Because when you grow, when you start becoming free on the inside, it disturbs something in others. Not because you're taking anything from them, but because you remind them of what they've forgotten themselves. Sometimes, you don't need to do anything wrong to trigger someone's darkness. Sometimes, your peace alone is enough. And instead of facing what hurts inside them, they turn their gaze outward, toward you. It's easier to judge than to feel, easier to hate than to heal. But here's the strange part. Often those who wish you harm, or speak ill of you behind closed doors, begin to spiral. Not because you retaliated, not because you cursed them back, but because life has a way of restoring balance. Every thought is a seed. Every intention, spoken or not, creates a ripple. And whether you believe in energy, karma, or just basic cause and effect, what you send out finds its way back to you. Wishing someone harm is like planting poison in your own garden, hoping it will bloom in someone else's. But it never works like that. The energy you throw at others runs through your own system first. It affects your mind, your sleep, your health, your focus. It clings to your spirit and seeps into your reality. Until eventually, it shows. You might have seen it. Someone who mocked you, underestimated you, or talked behind your back seems to have it all together, for a while. But then, things begin to crumble. They lose their job. Their relationships break. Their body starts to fail. They drown in chaos of their own making. And it's not a curse. It's a mirror. It's life saying, you can't live out of alignment and expect peace. Everything hidden eventually comes to the surface. And you stood there, vulnerable, but honest. You didn't attack back. You didn't stoop to their level, because your strength was never in revenge. It was in staying clear. That's a quiet kind of power. The kind that doesn't need to raise its voice, doesn't need to explain itself. It just is. It's the power of someone who says, I'll let you carry the weight of your own energy. I don't need to pick it up. There's a deeper law at play in this world. Not the law of instant justice, but the law of balance. Like water always finds the lowest point. Energy always finds its rightful place. If someone thinks badly of you or plots against you, they're really just blocking their own growth. Every attempt to pull you down keeps them from rising. It's like throwing mud. You have to crouch down to scoop it up, and your hands are already dirty before it even leaves your fingers. Some people don't believe in energy. They don't believe in karma or universal alignment. But just look at nature. Everything seeks balance. No tree keeps growing if its roots are rotting. No river stays clean if you keep dumping filth into it. And the same goes for people. If someone's inner world is full of bitterness and envy, their outer world will eventually reflect it. And the saddest part? Most don't even realize it until it's too late. When they're alone, when they're sick, when they've burned every bridge trying to prove a point that was never true. But you don't need them to understand. The greatest gift you can give yourself is knowing your truth, even when no one else sees it. To say, I don't need validation. I don't need to prove who I am. I just need to stay aligned. Because that alignment is your shield. Not a wall, not a weapon, but a frequency. A frequency so steady, so honest, that anything false cannot survive within it. So next time someone hopes for your downfall, don't ask, why me? Ask, what in them is so restless that my peace disturbs it? And let it go. Not out of superiority, but out of clarity. Not because you're better, but because you're freer. Because freedom isn't the power to say whatever you want. Freedom is not being shaken by what others say. Freedom is knowing that everything you send out becomes an echo, and choosing to be a soft echo in a loud world. You see, harm doesn't always come with fists or loud words. Sometimes it's subtle. It's a family member who praises everyone but you, a friend who always finds a way to downplay your joy, a colleague who smiles in your face but plants doubt behind your back. It's the small betrayals, the quiet undermining. And yet, all of them leave fingerprints, not on your body but on your energy. But here's the truth no one teaches. If you don't take it in, it can't stain you. Their actions are reflections of where they are, not who you are. It's like standing in front of a cracked mirror. You don't need to fix yourself because the image looks broken. You just need to stop using their reflection to define your worth. A person who tries to harm you is often already in harm's way internally. They live in scarcity, not just of money, but of self-love, of clarity, of peace. So they reach outward, hoping control or criticism will make them feel bigger. But it never lasts, because you can't rise by stepping on someone else's spirit. You just fall more quietly. Some people carry so much inner noise that your silence becomes unbearable. Some carry so much confusion that your clarity feels like a threat. So they attack. Not because you're wrong, but because you're not suffering like them. And that feels unfair in a world where pain has become currency. But here's something sacred. When you stay soft, not weak, but soft, when you choose not to return the poison, you become something rare. You become a space where energy passes through but doesn't stick. You become like clear water. Nothing clings, everything is seen, and no lie survives in your presence. And yes, that might mean you lose people. It might mean being misunderstood. It might mean walking alone for a while. But that path will never be heavy, because what you carry is yours, not theirs. It's tempting to explain yourself, to prove your innocence, to correct the record. But if someone is committed to misunderstanding you, they're not seeking truth, they're seeking control. Let go of the urge to be seen correctly by the wrong eyes. Let go of the idea that justice always looks like vindication. Sometimes justice is simply peace, not winning, just not hurting anymore, not revenge, just release. If you really want to win, don't wish them harm, wish them healing. Because people who heal stop hurting others. And if they don't, that's not your responsibility. The longer you carry their darkness trying to make sense of it, the more you risk dimming your own light. Your task was never to convert them, just not to become like them. And if you need a metaphor, think of your soul like a garden. You choose what gets planted. If they throw seeds of hate over your fence, you don't have to water them. Let them dry out in the sun of your awareness. You tend your own soil, with truth, with stillness, with care. Eventually, your garden will bloom in ways they never could destroy. And they'll either leave or learn. Either way, you grow. So let this be your reminder. People may harm you out of fear, insecurity, or pain. But none of that defines you. What defines you is what you do with it. And if you turn that pain into presence, that wound into wisdom, that sting into stillness, then nothing they did was wasted. You rise, not in spite of what happened, but through it. Because what was meant to break you ended up becoming the proof that you couldn't be broken.